I stared at my phone, reading my father's message again and again. You need to help your brother. Family comes first, Maya. My hands trembled as I sat at the kitchen table in Columbus, Ohio, trying to process what he was asking for. $2,000 for my brother's graduation party. It wasn't a request. It was a demand. But before continuing, make sure you're subscribed to our channel and tell us in the comments which city you're watching from. We love seeing how far our stories reach. My name is Maya. I'm 29 years old, a dental hygienist at a busy clinic downtown, and a single mother to the most wonderful 5-year-old boy, Noah. His father left before he was born, and honestly that was probably for the best. What hasn't been for the best is the way my own family has treated us. Across the room, Noah was building a tall tower out of blocks. His dark curls bounced as he focused, his tongue sticking out the way little kids do when they concentrate. He had no idea what had happened 3 days ago. Or maybe he did, and just hid it better than I gave him credit for. 3 days ago was Noah's 5th birthday party. I had sent invitations to my parents, my brother Dylan, and my sister Chloe 6 weeks ahead of time. I called to confirm. I texted reminders. I even offered to pick them up if transportation was an issue, though they all lived within 20 minutes of my house. The party was supposed to start at 2 in the afternoon. I rented a bounce house, ordered a custom superhero cake that cost me a week of groceries, and invited Noah's preschool friends. I decorated the backyard myself, stringing lights and hanging banners until midnight. Noah kept asking when Grandma and Grandpa were coming, when Uncle Dylan would arrive. He wanted to show them his new bicycle, the one I'd saved for months to buy. Every time a car passed, he ran to the window and pressed his hands against the glass. "Are they here, Mom?" My heart broke a little more each time I had to say, "Not yet." By 3, all his friends had arrived. The bounce house was full of laughter and squeals, but from my family, nothing. No call, no text, just silence. I called my mom. Straight to voicemail. My dad's phone too. Dylan didn't have read receipts, so I couldn't tell if he'd seen my messages. Chloe, who still lived at home, finally texted around for, "Sorry, something came up." That was it. No explanation. No apology to Noah. I smiled through the party, took pictures, helped Noah blow out his candles, and kept my voice light. But inside I was dying, watching him glance at the door every few minutes, the hope fading from his eyes each time. When the last guest left and I was cleaning up wrapping paper and cake crumbs, Noah came to me. His voice was small. "Mom, did I do something wrong? Is that why they didn't come?" I pulled him into my arms, holding back tears. "No, buddy. You didn't do anything wrong. Not a single thing." But now, staring at my father's message demanding money for Dylan's graduation, I saw it clearly. This wasn't the first time. Or the second. It was a pattern. Last year they skipped Noah's 4th birthday. My mom said she had a headache, my dad said he had to work, and Dylan didn't respond at all. 2 weeks later, when Dylan needed car repairs, my dad called me asking me to chip in $500, because that's what family does. I paid it like an idiot. The year before that, they came to Noah's 3rd birthday but left after 20 minutes because Chloe wanted to go shopping. They didn't even stay to watch him blow out his candles. I looked again at my father's message. "Dylan's graduation party is next month. We need $2,000 to cover the venue and catering. Your mother and I are contributing $14,500. You and Chloe should split the rest. Send $2,000 by Friday." The math didn't even make sense. But that was typical of my father. Numbers meant whatever he needed them to mean to get what he wanted. I thought about my savings account, the one I'd been building for Noah's future, for emergencies, for security we didn't have. $2,000 would wipe out almost a third of it, for a party for the same brother who couldn't be bothered to show up for my son's birthday. Something hardened in my chest. I'd spent my whole adult life trying to be the good daughter, the reliable one, the one who showed up, paid up, and never complained. And where had that gotten me? Sitting alone at my kitchen table while my son asked if he'd done something wrong. I opened my banking app and stared at the screen for a long time. Then I typed in the amount, $1. In the memo line I wrote, "Best wishes." I hit send before I could change my mind. A confirmation appeared, "Payment sent." My heart pounded. I had never defied my father before. Not once. He ruled our home with quiet disapproval that crushed harder than shouting ever could. My mom backed him every time. Dylan could do no wrong and Chloe was the baby who needed protecting. I was the one who didn't need attention because I could handle everything myself. When I was 12 and Dylan was 9, I made sure he did his homework and had lunch packed. When Chloe was born I was 14, and suddenly had a third shift. Making bottles, changing diapers, walking her at night so my parents could sleep. Maya is so responsible, people used to say, and my parents would beam with pride. What they meant was, Maya is so useful. I learned not to ask for help. When I wanted to go to the homecoming dance in high school, my mom said we couldn't afford the dress. 3 months later, Dylan got a brand new gaming console for his birthday. When I graduated we had cake at home. When Dylan graduated 2 years later they threw him a huge party at a restaurant and invited 50 people. Looking back now the pattern was crystal clear. But when you're living it, when it's all you've ever known, you think maybe that's just how families work. Maybe you're asking for too much. Maybe you're selfish. Getting pregnant with Noah at 23 hadn't been planned. His father, someone I dated for 4 months, disappeared when I told him. My parents' reaction was predictable. Disappointment disguised as, "We'll support you," promises that never turned into actual help. They didn't come to any prenatal appointments or help set up the nursery. When I went into labor 2 weeks early and called my mom in a panic, she said she couldn't come because she had plans with Chloe. I had Noah alone. Well, not entirely. A kind nurse named Erica held my hand through the worst of it. But no one from my family showed up. After Noah was born, things seemed a little better. My parents visited occasionally, brought small gifts, loved showing off pictures of their grandson to their friends. But the deeper problem never changed. Every family gathering was about what Dylan needed or what Chloe wanted. Noah and I were always the afterthought. When Noah was 18 months old, my car broke down. I called my father because I didn't know what else to do. The repair estimate was $1,000. Money I didn't have. He lectured me for 20 minutes about financial responsibility before finally agreeing to lend me the money. And not give. I paid him back in full within 6 months, even though it meant eating rice and beans for weeks. 2 years later, Dylan totaled his car driving drunk. My father paid for Dylan's new car outright, $13,000 just like that. Dylan never paid him back. When I asked my mom about the double standard, she said, "Dylan's going through a hard time. He needs our support." Apparently I didn't. About a year ago I finally tried to talk to them about it. I sat them down and explained how their favoritism hurt, how invisible I felt, how Noah deserved grandparents who actually showed up for him. My father listened with his arms crossed, his face completely blank. When I finished, he said, "You've always been too sensitive, Maya. We treat all our children the same." My mom nodded right along. "You're imagining things. We love you all equally." Gaslighting. That was the word I later learned in therapy. After that talk I stopped trying to fix things. I kept basic contact, sent birthday cards out of obligation, showed up for holidays, but I stopped expecting anything. I stopped hoping they'd suddenly see Noah and me as worth their time and energy. Still, some foolish part of me had hoped they'd come to his birthday this year. I told them how much it meant to Noah, how he'd been talking about it for weeks, how excited he was to show them his new tricks on the monkey bars. They couldn't even send a text until 4 hours after the party started. Now sitting in my kitchen staring at the confirmation screen for that $1 transfer, I felt something shift. Not just anger, though there was plenty of that, but something colder, steadier. I had been playing by their rules my entire life and it had gotten me nowhere. Maybe it was time to make my own. My phone buzzed. A new text from my father. "Maya, I don't see the full payment. There must be a mistake with your bank. Please resend $2,000. I almost laughed. There was no mistake. He simply couldn't imagine that I had sent exactly what I meant to send. I didn't reply. Instead, I opened my contacts and scrolled to a number I had saved 6 months ago but never called. Ethan, a real estate attorney who had helped one of my coworkers with a property issue. Because there was something my parents didn't know, something I'd been quietly working on since Noah's 4th birthday party, the day they first showed me exactly how little we mattered. The house I lived in, the one I'd been making payments on for 3 years, wasn't just in my name. Legally, it had been jointly owned by my father and me. He'd co-signed the mortgage when I was 26, just after Noah was born, supposedly to help me qualify for better rates. At the time I'd been grateful, naive. I didn't realize it was just another way to keep control. 6 months ago, after that conversation where they told me I was too sensitive, I started researching my options. I learned that I could refinance the house under my name alone if I could prove my income and credit were strong enough. It would cost money I didn't have easily, but I'd been saving, cutting every unnecessary expense. 3 months ago I met with Ethan. He reviewed my finances and told me it was possible. Difficult but possible. 2 months ago I started the refinancing process. I told no one, not even my best friend Harper. This was my secret, my safety net, my escape plan. And 1 month ago the paperwork went through. The house was mine, completely mine. My father's name was gone from the deed, from the mortgage, from everything. He just didn't know it yet. I had been waiting for the right moment to tell him. Or maybe waiting for him to give me a reason to tell him. He just had. I texted Harper, "Are you free tonight? Need to talk." Her reply came within seconds. "Always. Come over after you put Noah to bed. The wine's already open." Harper had been my friend since college. We met in a biology class, bonded over awful cafeteria coffee, and somehow stayed close through all the chaos of our 20s. She was the only person who truly understood my family situation because she had seen enough of it herself. She had been at Noah's birthday party 3 days ago. She had seen him waiting by the window. She had helped me hold it together when I wanted to collapse. That evening, after I gave Noah his bath, read him 2 stories and promised that yes, we could go to the park tomorrow, I drove 15 minutes to Harper's apartment. She opened the door before I could knock, 2 glasses of wine already waiting. "Okay," she said, pulling me inside. "What happened? You've got that look." "What look?" "The one that says you're about to do something either brilliant or completely insane." "Maybe both." I sat on her couch and told her everything. The text from my father, the $1 transfer, the refinancing she didn't even know about. When I finished, she stared at me wide-eyed. "You already took him off the deed?" "When?" "Last month. I've been waiting to see if they'd actually show up for Noah this year. They didn't. And now my dad wants $2,000 for Dylan's party like nothing happened." Harper took a long sip of wine. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet, but I'm done. Done being the one who bends. Done paying up and showing up while getting nothing in return. They're going to lose it when they find out about the house." "I know. Especially my dad. He's always used that cosign as leverage." She nodded. "Right. Every time you tried to stand your ground, he'd remind you about the house they helped you get or the financial support they gave you." "Exactly. It was his trump card. His way of saying I owed them. But I don't. Not anymore." "I'm thinking about changing the locks," I said quietly. Harper set down her wine glass. "Do you think they'd actually show up and try to use their key?" "My dad has a spare. He insisted on it when he co-signed, said it was for emergencies. But he's used it before. Twice that I know of. Once he let himself in while Noah and I were grocery shopping. Said he wanted to check my water heater. Didn't even ask permission. That's not okay." "I know. I didn't fight it at the time because I didn't want to start a war. I thought keeping the peace was worth it. But there's no peace anymore. Just me being used." Harper reached over and squeezed my hand. "Change the locks. Tomorrow. I'll come with you to Home Depot. We'll make a day of it." Tears stung my eyes. "Thank you." "For what?" "For not telling me I'm overreacting. For not saying they're still my family and I should forgive them." "Maya," she said softly, "they ghosted a 5-year-old's birthday party, their own grandson, and now they want money from you." "Oh, absolutely not. You don't owe them forgiveness. You don't owe them anything." We talked for another hour. He helped me make a plan. Change the locks, document everything. Every text, every broken promise. Prepare for the backlash because there would be backlash. My father never handled defiance well. The next morning, Saturday, Harper picked me up at 9. Noah was at a playdate with his best friend from preschool. A standing weekend arrangement that gave me a few hours for errands. We went to Home Depot and bought new deadbolts for both the front and back doors. The man at the counter, an older gentleman with kind eyes, showed us how to install them. Easy enough, he said. Anyone can do it with a screwdriver in about 20 minutes. Back home I changed both locks. The act of physically removing my father's key from my life felt symbolic. Every turn of the screwdriver was a small revolution. When I finished, I stood on the porch, staring at the new brass deadbolt. My house. My locks. My rules. My phone buzzed. Another message from my father. Maya, it's been 2 days. I need that money transferred by tomorrow or we can't confirm the venue for Dylan's party. Stop playing games. Playing games, as if my entire life hadn't been one big game to them with rules that only worked in their favor. I typed back. I sent what I could afford. Best wishes to Dylan. 3 dots appeared immediately. Then disappeared. Appeared again. 4 times before his reply came through. What you sent was insulting. Your brother deserves better than your petty behavior. We'll discuss this in person. I'll be by your house tomorrow at noon. My heart pounded. Tomorrow was Sunday. Noah would be home. I did not want Noah to see whatever confrontation was coming. I texted Harper. My father is coming tomorrow at noon. Can Noah stay with you for a few hours? Her reply came immediately. Absolutely. Bring him over at 11. We will make cookies. I made another decision on the spot. I called Ethan, the real estate attorney. He answered on the 3rd ring. Hi Ethan. It is Maya. We spoke a few months ago about the house refinancing. Of course. Is everything all right with the paperwork? The paperwork is fine, but I think I am going to need legal documentation proving the house is solely in my name now. Something official I can show if needed. Can you help with that? He paused. Is someone disputing your ownership? Not yet, but they might try. I want to be prepared. I can have certified copies of the deed and mortgage ready by Monday morning. I will also draft a letter summarizing the transfer if you think that would help. That would be perfect. Thank you. After I hung up, I sat in my quiet house and let myself feel the fear because I was scared, terrified actually. I was challenging my father's authority for the first time in my life, and I knew he would not take it well. But I was also exhausted. Exhausted from trying to earn love that should have been given freely. Exhausted from watching my son's face fall every time my family chose not to show up. Exhausted from being the designated doormat. Something my therapist once said came back to me. You cannot control how other people treat you. You can only control how you respond. I was responding. Finally. That night, I lay in bed and thought about what would happen tomorrow. My father would show up expecting to lecture me, expecting me to cave and transfer the money like I always did. He would probably threaten to use his key if I did not answer the door fast enough. Except his key would not work anymore. And the house he believed gave him power over me was no longer his to claim. I did not sleep much. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined the confrontation, his anger, my mother's tears, the accusations that I was ungrateful, selfish, a bad daughter. Then I pictured Noah asking if he had done something wrong, and the fear hardened into something else. Determination. Sunday morning, I took Noah to Harper's apartment. I packed his favorite toys and some snacks and told him he got to have a special cookie-making day with Auntie Harper. Why can't you stay, Mom? He asked. I have some boring grown-up stuff to handle at home, but I will pick you up in a few hours and we will get ice cream, okay? His face lit up. Okay. Harper hugged me at the door. You've got this. Call me if you need backup. I will. I drove home with my hands shaking on the wheel. At 11:45 I closed all the curtains. I did not want my father seeing inside, did not want him thinking he had any right to my space. Exactly at noon a car pulled into my driveway. Through the peephole I watched my father get out. My mother sat in the passenger seat staying put. Typical. She would let him handle the confrontation and later claim she tried to keep the peace. He walked up to the door with the confidence of someone who expected to be obeyed. He knocked. I counted to 10. He knocked again harder. Then he pulled out a key. I watched him slide it into the lock and turn it once, twice. Confusion crossed his face when nothing moved. He tried again, jiggling the key more forcefully. Nothing. He stepped back, examined the key as if it had somehow turned into the wrong one, then tried again. I saw the moment realization hit. His jaw clenched, his face darkened. He pounded on the door. Maya, open this door right now. I took a deep breath and opened it with the chain still engaged, leaving only a few inches between us. Hi, Dad. His eyes flicked to the chain, then back to me. What is going on? My key does not work. I changed the locks. Silence. Complete stunned silence. I watched him process it, confusion hardening into anger. You changed the locks to your house without telling me. It is my house. I can change the locks whenever I want. His face reddened. I co-signed that mortgage. I have a right to access. You co-signed the original mortgage 3 years ago. I refinanced last month. Your name is not on anything anymore, so no, you do not have a right to access. I had never seen my father look so shocked. His mouth opened and closed, searching for words. Behind him, my mother got out of the car, clearly sensing something was wrong. You refinanced, he managed. When? Why was I not informed? I was not required to inform you. It is my property. Maya, what has gotten into you? First you send an insulting dollar to your brother. Now you are changing locks and going behind my back with legal matters. I did not go behind your back. I handled my own business. There is a difference. My mother reached the porch. What is happening? Why are you shouting? Your daughter has apparently lost her mind, my father snapped. She changed the locks and refinanced the house without telling us. My mother's eyes widened. She looked at me with an expression I could not read. Why would you do that? Because it is my house and I wanted new locks. But your father has always had a key for emergencies. There will not be any emergencies that require him to let himself into my home unannounced. My father's voice rose. This is about the money, isn't it? You are throwing a tantrum because I asked you to contribute to your brother's graduation party. You did not ask, you demanded. And you demanded it 3 days after you all skipped Noah's birthday without even a phone call. We explained your mother had a migraine. And Dylan and Chloe, what were their excuses? My mother cut in. Chloe had a work thing and Dylan was busy with finals. Finals ended 2 weeks before Noah's party. I know because Dylan posted all over social media about being done with school. My father stepped closer to the door. I instinctively stepped back even though the chain held. You are being incredibly selfish right now. Your brother's graduation is a major milestone. The party is important to him. And my son's 5th birthday was not important? That is different. Noah is a child. He does not understand these things yet. The words hung in the air like poison. My hands shook with rage. Get off my property. His eyes narrowed. Excuse me. You heard me. This is my house, my property, and I am asking you to leave. Maya, let us calm down and talk about this, my mother said, her voice slipping into that placating tone I knew so well. We are family. We do not need to be hostile. You are right. We are family. Which is why you should have shown up for your grandson's birthday. Which is why you should have called to apologize instead of demanding money from me 3 days later. We are asking for help with a family celebration, my father said. That is what families do. They help each other. Then where was my help when Noah was born? Where was my help when my car broke down and you made me pay back every penny? Where was my help when I was working double shifts to afford diapers and you bought Dylan a $13,000 car? My mother flinched. We have always treated you all fairly. That is a lie and you know it. My father's face twisted with fury. How dare you speak to your mother that way? We raised you better than this. Did you? Because from where I am standing, you raised me to accept scraps while Dylan and Chloe got everything. You raised me to be useful, not loved. That is not true. My mother's voice cracked. We love all our children equally. Then prove it, I said. Send me copies of every check you've written to Dylan over the past 5 years. Every car payment you've covered for him, every credit card bill you've paid for Chloe. Let's add it all up and see if it matches what you've done for me. Silence. Neither of them said a word. That's what I thought. I started to close the door, but my father slammed his hand against it. If you don't open this door right now and have a civil conversation, there will be consequences. What consequences? I asked quietly. You can't threaten me with the house anymore. You have no power here. We're your parents, he snapped. We have every right to expect respect and support from our daughter. And I had every right to expect my parents to show up for their grandson's birthday. I guess we're both disappointed. I closed the door, turned the deadbolt and re-engaged the chain. Through the wood I could still hear my father yelling, "This isn't over, Maya. You can't treat family this way." My whole body trembled as I walked to the kitchen. I poured myself a glass of water and tried to slow my breathing. Outside, my mother was trying to calm him down. Their voices grew fainter until I heard the car door slam. My phone started ringing. My father. I declined. It rang again. Declined. Then a text appeared. "You're making a huge mistake. We're going to fix this whether you like it or not." What did that mean? I stared at the message, my stomach twisting. My father wasn't the type to make empty threats. Another text came in. This one from Dylan. "What the hell is your problem? Dad just called me freaking out. You changed the locks on the house he helped you buy? That's messed up." I typed back, "The house I bought. The one I pay for. The one that's now completely in my name. Maybe if you'd shown up for Noah's birthday we wouldn't be here." Dylan replied almost instantly. "Noah's a kid. He'll have plenty of birthdays. My graduation only happens once." The audacity was unbelievable. I didn't answer. Seconds later my phone rang again. Dylan. I let it go to voicemail. Then Chloe called. I ignored that too. A few moments later a group text appeared. My father had started it. It included all of them, my parents, Dylan, Chloe, and me. "Family meeting tonight at 6 at our house. Maya, you need to be there. This behavior stops now." I stared at the message, heat flooding my chest. The assumption that I would just show up, fall in line, obey like always, made my blood boil. I typed one word. No. My father replied, "This isn't optional." "I'm an adult," I wrote back. "It's absolutely optional, and I'm declining." Dylan. "Come on, Maya, stop being dramatic." Chloe. "We just want to talk. Why are you being so difficult?" My mother. "Please, honey, let's work this out as a family." I turned my phone face down on the counter and set it to silent. I couldn't deal with any of them. Not right now. I called Harper. "Can I pick up Noah in an hour instead of now? I need a minute." "Take all the time you need," she said. "He's having a blast. We're on cookie number 3. "Thank you. I'll explain everything when I get there." I sat at my kitchen table and cried. Angry tears, frustrated tears, relieved tears, all tangled together. I had finally stood up to my father. I had set a boundary and enforced it. But instead of feeling triumphant, I felt terrified because I knew this wasn't over. My father had promised consequences. And he always followed through on his threats. The worst part was I had no idea what those consequences might be. An hour later, I drove to Harper's apartment to pick up Noah. He came running to the door with chocolate smeared across his face and a huge grin. "Mom, we made so many cookies. And Auntie Harper let me put in extra chocolate chips." I scooped him up, breathing in that sweet mix of sugar and soap. "That sounds amazing, buddy." Harper pulled me aside while Noah packed his backpack. "How did it go?" "About as well as you'd expect. He tried his old key, realized it didn't work, and completely lost it. I told them to leave. And now my whole family's losing their minds in a group chat." "Let me see." I handed her my phone. She scrolled through the messages, her expression darkening. "They're delusional. Completely delusional. Listen to this. We just want to talk. No, they want to bully you into submission." "I know. Are you going to the family meeting?" "Absolutely not." "Good. Don't give them that power." She handed me back my phone. "What do you think they'll do next?" "I don't know. That's what scares me." Noah came bounding back with his backpack. "Ready, Mom?" We said goodbye to Harper and I drove Noah home. The whole drive he chattered happily about cookies and how Auntie Harper had taught him a new song. His joy, his innocence. It reminded me why I was doing all of this. Not for me. For him. So he would grow up knowing he deserved better than what I had accepted. That evening, right at 6, my phone exploded with notifications. The family meeting had clearly started without me and they were furious. Dylan, seriously? You're really not coming? Chloe, this is so disrespectful. My mother, we're all here waiting for you. Please reconsider. My father, your absence speaks volumes about your character. I didn't reply to any of them. Instead, I made dinner for Noah. Chicken nuggets and green beans, his favorite. We sat together at the kitchen table while he told me about a spider he'd seen at preschool. It was this big, Mom, he said, holding his hands about 2 inches apart. Wow, that's huge. Yeah, and Miss Sarah said it was a garden spider and they're friendly. That's good to know. After dinner, bath time, and 2 bedtime stories, I tucked Noah into bed. He looked up at me with those big brown eyes. Mom, are we going to have another birthday party for me? My chest tightened. What do you mean, honey? Like a do-over party, since Grandpa and Grandma and Uncle Dylan didn't come to the first one? Oh, sweetheart. I sat on the edge of his bed and brushed his curls from his forehead. We already had your party. You had all your friends there and it was so much fun, remember? Yeah, but I wanted to show Grandpa my new bike. I know you did. Do you think they'll come next year? I wanted to lie. I wanted to protect him from the truth. But I didn't want to give him false hope either. I don't know, buddy. But you know what I do know. You are so loved by me, by Auntie Harper, by all your friends, and that's what really matters. He thought for a moment, then nodded. Okay, Mom. Now get some sleep. We've got park day tomorrow, remember? His face lit up. Oh yeah. Can we go on the swings? As many times as you want. After he fell asleep, I went to my room and checked my phone. 17 missed calls. 34 unread messages. All from my family. The tone had shifted from annoyed to angry to desperate. My mother. Maya, please call us. Your father is very upset. Dylan, you're being childish. Just apologize and send the money. Chloe, I can't believe you're doing this to Mom and Dad. They don't deserve this. My father. Last chance. Call me by 9 tonight or I'm coming to your house tomorrow and we're settling this. It was 8:45. 15 minutes to decide. I didn't call. At 9:15 one final text came in. Fine. Have it your way. But don't say I didn't warn you. I lay in bed that night, anxiety churning in my stomach. What did he mean? What was he planning? The next morning, Monday, I dropped Noah off at preschool and went to work. The clinic was busy, which was good. Kept my mind occupied. Between patients, I checked my phone. Nothing from my family. The silence was heavy, unnatural. During my lunch break, I drove to Ethan's office to pick up the certified documents he'd promised. He handed me a thick manila envelope. Everything you need is in here. Certified copies of the new deed, the refinanced mortgage papers, and a letter explaining the ownership transfer with all the legal citations. Thanked him. If anyone questions my ownership, this should clear it up immediately. You're welcome, he said. Can I ask what's going on? You seem stressed. I gave him a brief summary. His face tightened with concern. Keep these documents somewhere safe. If things escalate, do not hesitate to call the police. Family dynamics can get complicated, but the law is clear. It's your property. I drove back to work with the envelope on the passenger seat, feeling a little better. I had proof, legal certified proof, that the house was mine. The afternoon passed without incident. I picked up Noah from preschool and we went to the park like I had promised. Watching him pump his legs on the swings and hearing his laughter reminded me what mattered. We got home around 5:30. Noah went straight to his toy box while I started dinner. I was chopping vegetables when I heard a car pull into my driveway. Through the kitchen window, I saw my father's car, my mother's, Dylan's truck, and Chloe's sedan. All of them were here. My stomach dropped. I grabbed my phone and texted Harper. My entire family just showed up at my house. All of them. Do you want me to come over? Not yet, but stay on standby. They got out and came up the walk together. My father led, my mother beside him, Dylan and Chloe behind. The doorbell rang. Who is that, Mom? Noah called from the living room. Just some visitors, honey. Stay here and keep playing. I went to the door and looked through the peephole. The four of them stood on the porch like an intervention team. I opened the door with the chains still on. "We need to talk," my father said. "No, we don't." "Maya, please," my mother said. "Let us in. Let's discuss this like adults." "There is nothing to discuss. I am not giving you money for Dylan's party. The house is in my name. End of discussion." Dylan pushed forward. "Come on. This is ridiculous. Just let us in." "No." My father's voice hardened. "Maya, if you don't open this door right now, we are going to have a serious problem." "I am not opening the door. You need to leave. This is our grandson's home too. We have a right to see him." "Noah," my mother called past me, "Honey, it's Grandma." Rage flooded me. "Do not call for my son. You had your chance to see him at his birthday party. You chose not to show up." "We explained that," Chloe said. "Why can't you let it go?" "Because it's a pattern, Chloe. And I am done pretending it is okay." My father pulled out his phone. "Last chance, Maya. Open the door or I am calling the police." "You are calling the police for what?" "You are keeping us from our grandson. That could be considered alienation." "That is not what parental alienation means and you know it. I am asking you to leave my property. That is my legal right." "We will see what the police have to say about that," he said and actually dialed. "Yes, I need to report a situation," he told the dispatcher, voice careful and reasonable. "My daughter is refusing to let us see our grandson. We are at her house now and she will not even talk to us properly. We are worried about the child's welfare. The address is 1942 Oak Ridge Avenue." He paused. "Yes, we will wait here. Thank you." He hung up and looked smug. "The police are on their way. Maybe they can talk some sense into you." "You are making a mistake," I said, my hands shaking. "The only mistake is yours," he replied. "You have forgotten who your family is. We are here to remind you." I closed the door and turned the deadbolt. My heart raced. I had maybe 15 minutes before the police arrived. I needed to be ready. I grabbed the manila envelope from Ethan and spread the documents on the coffee table where I could reach them fast. Then I opened my photo app. I scrolled back 3 days to Noah's birthday party. I had taken so many photos. The decorated backyard, the bounce house, the superhero cake, time-stamped across the afternoon. Photos of Noah by the window waiting, looking down the driveway, checking the door. I also had screenshots. Every text message from the week before the party where I had confirmed with my parents, Dylan and Chloe, that they would come. Every "yes, we'll be there." Every broken promise recorded. The group texts from Sunday were there too. Demands for money, the hostile messages when I said no. I opened a voice recorder and hit record. If officers were coming, I wanted a record of every word from this point forward. Noah came into the living room. "Mom, why are Grandpa and Grandma outside?" "They wanted to visit, but now is not a good time," I said, kneeling to his level. "Some police officers might stop by to talk to me for a minute. It is nothing to worry about, just boring grown-up stuff." "Police like the cars that go weo weo?" "Exactly like that. And remember, police officers are helpers. They are going to help me explain something. You just stay in here and play, okay?" "Okay, Mom." About 12 minutes later, a police cruiser pulled up. One officer got out, a woman in her 40s with her hair pulled back tight. She walked to the porch where my family still stood. I heard muffled voices through the door. My father's animated tone, my mother's softer replies, the officer asking questions. Then a knock. "Ma'am, this is Officer Dana Keene with the Columbus Police Department. Can you open the door, please?" I took a deep breath, picked up the envelope and opened the door. This time I unhooked the chain and stepped onto the porch, closing the door behind me so Noah would not hear. "Hello, officer. I am Officer Keene. Are you Maya?" "Yes. Your father called with concerns about his grandson's welfare and reported that you are refusing to let family members see the child. Can you tell me what is going on?" My father started to speak, but Officer Keene raised a hand. "Sir, I would like to hear from her first." "My son is fine," I said. "He is inside playing. He had his 5th birthday party last week. My parents, brother and sister were invited. They confirmed they would attend." None of them showed up, not even a phone call. 3 days later, my father texted demanding $2,000 for my brother's graduation party. When I declined, he became hostile. Yesterday he came here with my mother, and when his key did not work because I had changed the locks on my own home, he got angry. Today the entire family arrived unannounced, and when I asked them to leave, my father threatened to call the police, which he did. Officer Keen's expression stayed neutral, but her eyes shifted to my father. Is this accurate? That is a very one-sided version, he said. What she did not say is that I co-signed the mortgage on this house. I have a vested interest and a right to access. Do you currently co-own the property? The officer asked. Well, I co-signed the original mortgage. That is not what I asked. Are you currently listed as an owner on the deed? He hesitated. I am not sure about the current status. I handed her the documents. Officer, I refinanced the house last month. My father's name was removed from all ownership documents. The house is solely in my name. I have certified copies of the deed and mortgage here if you would like to see them. Officer Keen read the papers carefully, checking dates, signatures, and stamps. Then she looked at my father. Sir, according to these documents, you have no legal ownership of this property. I nodded. That's correct. My father's jaw tightened. The original mortgage, sir, Officer Keen said evenly. That's no longer relevant. The property was refinanced and is now solely in your daughter's name, which means she has every right to deny you access and to ask you to leave. But she's keeping us from our grandson, my father protested. Is there a custody agreement in place? She asked, turning to me. No. I have full custody. Noah's father isn't involved. Have there been any court orders granting grandparent visitation? No. Then she's well within her rights to decide who has access to her child, the officer said firmly. There's no legal issue here. This is a family matter. My mother's voice broke. Can't you see she's being unreasonable? We just want to talk to our daughter and see our grandson. Ma'am, Officer Keen replied, her tone cool but respectful. What I see is a woman standing on her own property asking you to leave. That's her legal right. If you refuse, you're trespassing. Dylan stepped forward. This is insane. She's our sister. We're not strangers. Family dynamics don't override property rights, the officer said sharply. Then she turned to me. Maya, do you want to press trespassing charges? I looked at them. My father's red face, my mother's tears, Dylan's disbelief, Chloe's shock. Part of me wanted to say yes, to press charges just to prove how serious I was. But the exhausted part of me, the one that just wanted peace, couldn't do it. No charges, I said quietly. I just want them to leave and not come back unless invited. Officer Keen nodded. You heard her. You all need to leave this property now. If you return without her permission, she can call us and press trespassing charges. Do you understand? My father opened his mouth to argue, but her expression stopped him cold. Do you understand, sir? Yes, he said through gritted teeth. Good. I suggest you all leave now. I watched as my family slowly walked back to their cars. My mother was crying openly. Chloe put an arm around her. Dylan shot me a look of pure disgust. My father was the last to move. He stopped at his car door and turned back toward me. You're going to regret this, Maya. You're throwing away your family over money and pride. I met his eyes. No. I'm protecting my son from people who don't value him. That's something I'll never regret. He slammed his door and they drove off. Officer Keen waited until their cars disappeared down the street, then turned to me. Are you all right? I think so. Thank you for listening to both sides. It's my job, she said. But for what it's worth, you did the right thing. Those documents saved you a lot of trouble. She paused. Can I give you some advice? Please. Document everything. Keep records of all communication. If they show up again, call us immediately. And consider getting a restraining order if this continues. I will. Thank you, Officer Keen. She handed me her card. If you need anything, don't hesitate to call. After she left, I stood on my porch for a long moment, just breathing. My legs were weak, my hands still shaking, but I had done it. I had stood my ground and my family had been forced to leave. When I went back inside, Noah was still sitting on the floor with his blocks, completely unaware of what had just happened. "Everything okay, Mom?" I sat down beside him. "Everything's okay, buddy. Everything's just fine." The next few days were quiet, too quiet. My phone, which had been blowing up for weeks, went completely silent. No calls, no texts, no guilt trips. The silence was worse than the confrontation. Life went on. I worked, picked up Noah from preschool, cooked dinner, read bedtime stories. Everything looked normal, but I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. My father's last words echoed in my mind. "You're going to regret this." On Wednesday evening, 4 days after the police had made them leave, I got a call from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer, but something told me to. "Hello. Is this Maya?" A woman's voice, professional, unfamiliar. "Yes." "Who's calling?" "My name is Melissa and I'm calling from Child Protective Services. We received a report about your 5-year-old son Noah. I'd like to schedule a home visit to follow up on some concerns that were raised." My blood ran cold. "What concerns?" "I can't discuss specifics over the phone, but this is standard procedure when we receive a report. Would tomorrow around 2 work for a visit?" My mind was spinning. "Yes, tomorrow at 2 is fine. Thank you." When I hung up, I sat staring at my phone, my hands shaking again, but this time from rage. My father had actually called Family Services Department on me. He'd reported me as an unfit mother because I wouldn't give him money or let him control me anymore. I called Harper immediately. He called Family Services Department on me. My father actually called Family Services Department. What? Are you serious? A caseworker named Melissa is coming tomorrow at 2. They got a report about Noah. That's insane. Noah's happy, healthy, cared for. Anyone can see that. I know. But now I have to prove it. I have to let a stranger come into my home and judge how I parent because my father decided to weaponize the system against me. Harper was quiet for a second. "Hey. Here's what we're going to do. Tonight you clean your house top to bottom. Make sure everything's organized, safe, spotless. Tomorrow before she gets there I'm coming over. I'm bringing documentation." "What kind of documentation?" "Noah's preschool records. Perfect attendance, no concerns. Photos from his birthday party showing a happy, healthy kid. Character references if you need them. We'll make it impossible for them to find a single thing wrong, because there isn't." "Thank you," I whispered. "And Maya," Harper added, "after this is over you need to think seriously about that restraining order the officer mentioned. Your dad has crossed a line. This isn't family drama anymore." He was right. I knew she was right. That night after Noah went to bed I cleaned like I never had before. I organized his toys, wiped down every surface, made sure all medications were sealed and labeled, checked that there was plenty of healthy food in the fridge and pantry. I gathered his medical records, preschool reports, growth charts from his pediatrician. I barely slept. The next morning I took a personal day from work. Harper arrived at noon with a folder full of documents. "Preschool records," she said, spreading papers across the kitchen table. I called Miss Sarah and told her what happened. She wrote a letter describing Noah's development, social skills, and how well he's doing. She said, "You're always on time, you attend every meeting, you even volunteer for activities." She did that. She was horrified when I told her someone reported you. She said it's obviously malicious, and she's willing to testify if needed. Tears burned my eyes. "I don't deserve you." "Yes, you do. Now, I've also got photos from the party, your pediatrician's info, and a list of character references. Me, Miss Sarah, and 3 of your co-workers." At exactly 2 o'clock, Melissa from Family Services Department arrived. She was younger than I expected. Early 30s, kind eyes, calm presence. I invited her in and introduced Harper as my friend who was there for moral support. Melissa walked through the house taking notes. She checked Noah's bedroom, the kitchen, the bathroom. She made sure cleaning supplies were out of reach, that there were working smoke detectors, that the house was clean and safe. Then she looked at me. "Can I speak with Noah for a few minutes?" I led Noah out from his room where he'd been playing. He looked at Melissa with open curiosity, not fear. "Hi, Noah," she said gently. "My name is Melissa. I just want to ask you a few questions, okay?" "Okay," he said, climbing onto the couch beside me. "Do you like living here?" "Yeah. I have my own room with dinosaur sheets." "That sounds awesome. Does your mom make sure you have food to eat?" We had chicken nuggets yesterday. They're my favorite." "Does your mom ever hurt you or scare you?" Noah frowned, puzzled. "No. Mommy gives the best hugs." Melissa smiled. "I bet she does. Do you go to school?" "Preschool. Miss Sarah is my teacher and she's really nice." The questions continued for about 10 minutes. Noah answered each one cheerfully, completely unaware of the weight they carried. When she finished, I sent him back to his room to play. Melissa sat across from Harper and me at the kitchen table. "I'm going to be honest with you, Maya," she began. "The report we received alleged neglect. Specifically that your child was being denied access to family members and possibly kept in an unsafe environment. Based on what I've seen today and from my conversation with Noah, none of those allegations appear to be true." "They're not," I said firmly. "Can I ask who made the report?" "Reports are confidential," she said, "but I can tell you that the caller identified himself as the child's grandfather." There was confirmation. My father had called because I refused to give him money and had set boundaries about access to my home. 4 days ago, police had to remove him and the rest of my family from my property for trespassing. Melissa's eyebrows rose. "I see. Do you have documentation of that?" I showed her Officer Keene's card and explained the situation. Harper added the documents we'd gathered. Melissa reviewed everything carefully, then closed her notebook. "I'm going to close this case as unfounded," she said. "Noah is clearly well cared for. Your home is clean, safe, and appropriate. There's no evidence of neglect or abuse. In fact, everything I've seen shows that you're a dedicated, attentive parent." Relief flooded through me. "Thank you. However," Melissa added, "I'll note in my report that this appears to be a malicious complaint related to a family dispute. If your father calls again with similar claims, that record will be on file." After she left, I collapsed onto the couch. Harper sat beside me and put her arm around my shoulders. "You did it," she said softly. "You got through it." "He used Family Services Department as a weapon against me," I whispered. "He tried to have my son taken away because I wouldn't obey him." "I know," she said. "And that's why you need to protect yourself legally. This won't stop unless you make it stop." He was right. I had been hesitant about getting a restraining order because it felt so final, so dramatic. But my father had proven he would go to any length to punish me for standing up to him. The next morning I called a family law attorney. Her name was Lauren, recommended by Ethan, the lawyer who helped with my house refinancing. Her office downtown was filled with diplomas and family photos, warm and professional at once. I told her everything. The favoritism growing up, the financial manipulation, Noah's birthday, the demand for money, the police, and the Family Services Department report. Lauren listened quietly, taking notes now and then. When I finished, she put her pen down and looked me straight in the eye. "What you're describing is a pattern of harassment and coercion. A call to the Family Services Department is especially serious. It shows an escalation to tactics that could have real consequences for you and your child. Can I get a restraining order based on this?" "Absolutely. We have documented trespassing with police involvement, and a malicious Family Services Department report. That's more than enough for a harassment order. We can include both you and Noah in the filing." "How long does it take?" "We can file a temporary order immediately. It goes into effect as soon as it's served. Then within about 2 weeks, there will be a hearing to decide if it becomes permanent. Given your documentation, I'm confident it will." "What exactly does it do?" "It legally prohibits your father, and we can add your mother, brother, and sister if necessary from coming near you, your home, your workplace, or Noah. They can't contact you directly or indirectly. If they violate it, they can be arrested." The idea of legally cutting off my family felt surreal, but also necessary. "Let's do it. Just my father for now. If the others cross the line, I'll add them later." Good choice, Lauren said. We'll start with him since he's the primary aggressor. We spent the next hour organizing evidence. Birthday invitations and confirmations, screenshots of texts, photos of Noah waiting by the window, the money demand, the angry messages, Officer Keene's report, the Family Services Department file. This is solid, Lauren said, flipping through the pages. Very solid. Your father made it easy by documenting his own harassment in writing. When will it be served? I'll file it this afternoon. It's usually delivered within 48 hours. Once he's served, he'll get notice of the hearing date. I left Lauren's office feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks. Control. Real, tangible control. I was taking action to protect Noah and myself. That evening, while making dinner, my phone rang. I had ignored his calls all week, but this time something made me pick up. What? Don't hang up, please. I need to talk to you about Dad. I don't want to hear it, Dylan. Just listen. He's losing it, Maya. He's been calling everyone, ranting about you, about the house, about how you've betrayed the family. Mom's afraid he's going to give himself a heart attack. That's not my problem. He called Family Services Department on me. I know he did. I told him it was insane, but he wouldn't listen. You told him not to? Of course I did. Even I know that's too far. But he's convinced you're an unfit mother because you won't let him control you anymore. Then maybe you should be talking to him, not me. I tried. We all did. He won't listen to anyone. He's planning something else, Maya. I don't know what, but he keeps saying you need to learn your lesson. My stomach twisted. What does that mean? I don't know, but I wanted to warn you. Whatever you're doing to protect yourself, keep doing it. Why are you telling me this? Dylan was quiet for a moment. As I've been thinking about Noah's birthday. How we all just didn't show up, how that must have felt for him and for you. Then Dad demanded money 3 days later like nothing happened. That was wrong, Maya. I should have said something then. But you didn't. No, I didn't. I went along with it because it's easier than standing up to him. But this, calling Family Services Department, that's not okay. That's dangerous. Thank you for the warning, I said quietly. But Dylan, you need to understand something. I'm done. Completely done trying to have a relationship with people who treat me like this, including you. I get it, he said. I just wanted you to know. Be careful. After we hung up, I sat there replaying his words. My father was planning something else. Another escalation, another attempt to punish me. Good thing I was already one step ahead. 2 days later, on Saturday morning, there was a knock at my door. I looked through the peephole and saw a man in a suit holding a folder. I opened the door with the chains still on. Why, yes. I'm a process server. I need to deliver these documents to Raymond. He checked his papers. He was listed as someone who might be here. He doesn't live here. This is my house. The address I have is his last known residence. That's incorrect. He has never lived here. I can give you his actual address. I wrote down my parents' address and slid it through the gap in the door. The process server thanked me and left. I smiled. My father had apparently been using my address for something. Maybe mail, maybe as a backup address for legal purposes. Either way, whatever documents were being served, he was about to receive them at his real home. That afternoon, I got a visit from a different process server, and this one I expected. It was confirmation that my father had been served with the temporary restraining order. Within an hour, my phone lit up. My mother called. I let it go to voicemail. She called again and again. Finally, I listened. Maya, what have you done? Your father was just served with some kind of court order saying he can't contact you or see Noah. This is going too far. You need to drop this immediately. Call me back. I deleted the message. Another call, this time from Chloe. Are you serious right now? A restraining order against Dad? As of what? Money? You've officially lost your mind. Mom is hysterical. Fix this. Delete. A text from Dylan. I warned you he was planning something. I didn't think you'd go nuclear first. Restraining order? Really? I replied. He called Family Services Department and tried to have Noah taken away. I'm protecting my son. Do not contact me again. That evening, Harper came over with wine and takeout. We sat on my couch while Noah played in his room. "How do you feel?" she asked. Terrified, relieved, guilty, angry, everything at once. "The guilt will fade. You're doing the right thing." "Am I? I just got a restraining order against my own father. Your father who called Family Services Department on you with false allegations. Your father who showed up at your house with your entire family to intimidate you. Your father who has financially and emotionally manipulated you your whole life. Yes, Maya, you are absolutely doing the right thing." I took a sip of wine. "The hearing is in 10 days. Do you think he'll show up?" "Definitely. He'll want to tell the judge his side and paint you as the ungrateful daughter who abandoned her family over money. Good thing I have evidence to prove otherwise." The next 10 days were the longest of my life. I worked, took care of Noah, and prepared with Lauren. My family tried every channel to reach me. My mother created a new email and sent long messages about how I was tearing the family apart. Chloe showed up at my workplace and my office manager had to ask her to leave. Dylan sent letters through the mail. I saved everything. Every email, every attempt, every violation of the spirit of the temporary order. Lauren said it would all help. The hearing was on a Wednesday morning. I took the day off and met Lauren at the courthouse. My stomach twisted as we waited in the hallway. "Remember," Lauren said, "answer directly and honestly. Try not to get emotional. Stick to the facts. What if he lies? What if he tells the judge I'm the problem? Then we show the evidence. We have documentation of everything. His words versus your proof. Proof wins." At 9 o'clock we entered the courtroom. My father was already there with his attorney, a stern man in an expensive suit. My mother sat behind him, face blotchy from crying. Dylan and Chloe were there too. I sat with Lauren and tried to breathe. The judge entered and we stood. Judge Elaine Porter was a woman in her 60s with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense manner. "We're here on a harassment restraining order petition filed by Maya against Raymond," she said. "Let's begin with the petitioner." "Counsel." Lauren rose and walked through everything. She presented the text demanding money, the photos from Noah's birthday with timestamps, the police report from when my family was removed from my property, the Family Services Department case number, and Melissa's report concluding the complaint was unfounded and appeared malicious. "Your Honor," Lauren finished, "the respondent has engaged in a clear pattern of harassment, escalating to the use of government agencies as a tool of retaliation when my client set reasonable boundaries. This behavior threatens both the petitioner and her minor child." Judge Porter studied the exhibits, then looked at my father's attorney. "Counselor, your response?" He stood. "Your Honor, this is a family dispute blown out of proportion. Mr. Raymond is a concerned father and grandfather who has been unfairly cut off. The petitioner changed the locks on a home he helped her obtain, refused to contribute to a family celebration, and has alienated him from his grandson. He made one call to Family Services Department out of genuine concern. One call to Family Services Department that was investigated and found completely unfounded," Judge Porter cut in. "That is in the record. Perhaps he was mistaken about the conditions. Or perhaps, as the investigator noted, it was a malicious complaint tied to a family conflict. Continue." The attorney shifted. "Your Honor, families have disagreements. That does not warrant a restraining order. Mr. Raymond has never physically threatened his daughter. He simply wanted to have a conversation. A conversation that required bringing the entire family to her home after she asked him to leave," the judge said. "A conversation that required police intervention. He attempted to resolve the situation by trespassing after she revoked access." I could see the attorney straining. The evidence was overwhelming and Judge Porter wasn't buying his argument. "Does your client wish to testify?" she asked. "Yes, Your Honor." My father took the stand, swore to tell the truth, and his attorney began. "Mr. Raymond, describe your relationship with your daughter." "I've always tried to be a good father. I helped her when she needed it. I co-signed her mortgage when she was a young single mother. I've been there for her." "And what changed?" "She became hostile when I asked her to contribute to her brother's graduation party. It was a reasonable request, family supporting family, but she refused and sent $1 as an insult. Why did you go to her house with other family members? We were concerned. She changed the locks without telling us and refused to communicate. We wanted to make sure our grandson was okay. And the family services department call? I was worried, he said, face flushing. She was acting erratically, cutting off family. I thought maybe Noah wasn't being properly cared for. Lauren stood for cross. Mr. Raymond, you testified you've always been there for your daughter. Correct. Yes. Were you at your grandson's 5th birthday party on the 17th of last month? His jaw tightened. I couldn't make it. I had other obligations. What obligations? I don't recall specifically. You don't recall what was so important that you missed your grandson's birthday despite confirming you would attend? It was a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And your wife, your son Dylan, your daughter Chloe, they also had mysterious obligations? We're a busy family. Too busy to call and let a 5-year-old know you weren't coming? Not even a text. Silence. Mr. Raymond, how much money have you given Dylan in the past 5 years? I don't see how that's relevant. Your Honor, it goes to the pattern of treatment, Lauren said. I'll allow it, Judge Porter replied. My father shifted in his seat. I've helped him when he needed it. How much? I don't keep exact records. Approximately, maybe 20 or 30,000 over the years. And how much have you given Maya in that same time? She hasn't needed as much help. How much, Mr. Raymond? I lent her $800 once. She paid it back. So you've given your son $30,000 but lent your daughter $800, which she repaid. Is that accurate? Dylan's had more struggles. Did those struggles include you buying him a $13,000 car after he totaled his previous one driving drunk? My father's attorney objected, but Judge Porter overruled. Answer the question. Yes, I bought him a car, my father said stiffly. He's your son and Maya is your daughter. Yet you demanded she pay you back $800. Does that seem fair to you? That was different. How? Please explain how it was different. He couldn't. He sat there silent, eyes down. Lauren continued her cross-examination, calmly dismantling every excuse he tried to make. By the time she finished, he looked deflated and furious. Judge Porter called for a brief recess. When we returned, she delivered her ruling. I've reviewed all evidence presented today. The pattern is clear. Mr. Raymond has engaged in harassment, trespassing, and filed a malicious report to Family Services Department when the petitioner established reasonable boundaries. The temporary restraining order is hereby made permanent for a period of 4 years. Mr. Raymond is prohibited from contacting Maya or Noah directly or indirectly, or from coming within 500 feet of their home, workplace, or Noah's school. Any violation will result in immediate arrest. This court is adjourned. Behind me I heard my mother gasp. Chloe began to cry. Dylan dropped his head into his hands. All I felt was relief. Outside the courtroom, Lauren shook my hand. You did great in there. Thank you for everything, I said. You protected your son. That's what matters. I drove home feeling lighter than I had in months. The restraining order was permanent. 4 years of legally enforced peace. That evening I got one last text from an unknown number. You won today but you lost your family. I hope you're happy. It was clearly my father using someone else's phone to get around the order. I forwarded it to Lauren with the note. Violation of restraining order. Her reply came within minutes. Forward to the police. Keep documentation. If he continues, we'll pursue contempt charges. I sent everything to Officer Keene and blocked the number. In the months that followed, my father tried twice more to reach me through other people. Each time I documented and reported it. After the second violation, he spent a night in jail for contempt. After that, the contact stopped completely. My mother sent one final email from a new address, begging me to reconsider, to forgive, to think about family. I didn't respond. Chloe tried to approach me in a grocery store once. I reminded her she wasn't named in the restraining order yet, but she could be. She left. Dylan stopped trying altogether. The consequences fit their actions. My father's reputation in their community plummeted after news of the restraining order spread. My mother, who'd enabled him for decades, found herself isolated from the social circles she'd once controlled. Dylan's graduation party still happened, but it was small and quiet. Apparently no one wanted to contribute the money I'd refused to give. Chloe, who'd always depended on our parents financially, had to take a second job after they told her they couldn't help anymore because of the legal fees from fighting the restraining order. They had built their lives on control and favoritism, and once I stepped out of that system, the entire structure collapsed. As for me, I thrived. Noah started kindergarten and made wonderful friends. I got a promotion at work. Harper and I took Noah to the zoo, to museums, to parks. We built a life full of people who actually showed up, who actually cared. On Noah's 6th birthday, we threw another party. Smaller this time. Just his school friends, Harper, a few coworkers I'd grown close to, and Miss Sarah from his old preschool. No family drama, no waiting by the window. Just a happy kid blowing out candles surrounded by people who loved him. As I watched him laugh with his friends, I thought about everything that had brought us here. The pain of finally seeing my family for who they were, the fear of standing up to them, the relief of legal protection, the peace that came with real boundaries. Sometimes revenge isn't about grand gestures or dramatic confrontations. Sometimes it's simply refusing to keep playing by rules designed to keep you small. Sometimes it's choosing yourself and your child over people who never truly chose you. I'd spent 29 years trying to earn my family's love. It took losing them completely to realize I'd never needed it in the first place. And honestly, I had never been happier. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to our channel and tell me in the comments which part moved you the most.